Alright, I got two rules of thumb that I'm going to violate in this video. One is when you're making a meal, buy some things and make some things. And I make all the things in this video because I think mine are better than the store-bought ones. And two, don't make videos that are 10 minutes long. But because I'm going to make four things, I can't do this in less than 10 minutes, give or take. So first thing we're going to make is hummus, and we're going to start with dry garbanzo beans. They're going to go in this pot with a ton of water, a lot more water than you think it might need. Going to bring them to a boil, and then take it off the heat and let it sit aside for about an hour. Then drain them, put them back in the pot, take it to the boil again, and then simmer them for about an hour, and then they're going to be as mushy as the ones in the can, but a lot better tasting. If you wanted to skip that first boil, you could have soaked them overnight and that would have done the exact same thing. But here they are, they're cooked and they're ready to be pulverized and turned into hummus. You can see the skins that are in there with them. They don't hurt anything. I don't bother trying to pick those out. So into your blender or food processor or whatever you use to pulverize garbanzos goes the beans. After that is going to be the tahini. The about a third of a cup, which tahini comes in jars that are shaped like this, and about half a jar is about the right amount. After that, we're going to need the juice of a lemon. And yeah, I really do need a better juicing device than my 99-cent knick-knack aisle item. So if anybody's got a better idea, let me know. And then after that, I'm going to put in a small head of garlic. No, I'm not. I'm going to put in a teaspoon and a half of salt. And then I'm going to put in a small head of garlic. And I think my grocery store has quit carrying that peeled garlic product, which means I'm going to be abusing garlic to get skins off, which I really don't enjoy. But this is way better than the stuff that is minced and already in a jar. So once we've got all the ingredients in, that's it. That's what it takes to make hummus. And then we're going to go off to the pulverizer after we've put about a tablespoon, about a quarter cup of olive oil in here. And then while you're pulverizing, take a look. If it's a little too thick, just add water. So you can see that about a cup of dried beans has made almost 3 cups of hummus. Rose was nice enough to slice some veggies for us so we could snack while we make the other things. And it's always good to have some more olive oil on hand while you're eating hummus. So now's a pretty good time to season the chicken thighs that we're going to use for the meat that goes in our hero. And we're going to do this now before we make the other things so that seasoning has a little time to sit on the meat. So you can pause and write this down if you want to, but it'll be on the website. This is a traditional seasoning that you would season the meat with, that you were going to put on one of those big rotating spits and make heroes. I don't have one of those, so I'm going to do this more shawarma style. But it's cumin, coriander, chili powder, thyme, garlic powder, paprika, parsley, cinnamon, and oregano. And that's it. It's time to season these chicken thighs, so I'm going to put all this seasoning in one bowl and give it a nice mixy so that when I put it in with the chicken I don't get all coriander on one and all chili powder on another. Going to put it in this bag and leave a bunch of air in the bag so I got a little room to work it all together. And then once that's done, I'm going to squeeze the excess air out and seal it back up and stick it in the fridge. So we're going to make a cucumber salad that is a sort of a traditional topping for meat seasoned this way. So we need a cucumber, an onion, and a couple of Roma tomatoes. After I showed you a picture of this onion, I remembered I had a half onion in the fridge that I used previously, so I'm going to use that instead eventually. But I need to peel this cucumber first. And then once completed peeling, I'm going to have to slice it down the middle and seed it. And all you got to do to seed a cucumber is to get a spoon out of your handy drawer that's right in front of your workspace and sort of scrape out the seeds. It's kind of a watery, gooey mess when you do this. and you don't have to get rid of all the little divots. And then once you got that done, you're going to take each half cucumber and cut that into 4 strips, and now you've got about the right size pieces for a cucumber salad. And now you can just take those 4 strips and chop them up nicely. After that, chop up the onion the way you would chop up an onion. I'm starting to get worried because my bowl here is looking too small for all the ingredients I have. And then after that, we're going to dice up these Romas. Basically, everything we're doing is sort of 1/4-inch pieces, so it can be used as a topping, or it could be a side salad, however you want to do it. So now I get after these Romas. Same deal, cut the end off and then cut 4 or maybe 5 pieces, depending on how big it is. And then, turn it on its side if you got to get it started. And then cut it into about 4 strips, and then turn it and chop it, and that'll again give you about 1/4-inch pieces. I always use Romas for a dish like this because they're meatier than most things. Once everything's together and magically you found a larger bowl, give it a little mix, and after the mix, it can go off to the fridge. Okay, we got to make some tzatziki, which is that white cucumbery kind of sauce that is pretty common on a hero. Ingredients here: another cucumber, a little smaller than the first one we used, another head of garlic I got to pulverize, dill, 5% strained Greek yogurt, and each of those is about 2 cups. And so again, we gotta peel and chop up a cucumber. Oh fun. Then we got to abuse a head of garlic and mince it, and get that in there with the rest of this. And then after that is gonna come a little bit of dill, about 2 teaspoons worth in here, and then a little bit of salt, and then we're gonna push all that yogurt in here. And it's important to get the strained stuff, because otherwise you're going to get a bunch of watery goo that you don't want. About a tablespoon of olive oil, and off to the mixer, and you're going to come back with a thing that looks like this. This is a great dipping sauce. So Rose got me a new Le Creuset, and I'm so excited. This thing's not as deep and a little wider than my big red stock pot. I love this product. It's cast iron, so you get all the thermal benefits of cast iron, but it's enamel coated, so you don't have all the seasoning maintenance issues with that you do with cast iron. Anyway, this is going to be the first trip with this new item. So we go with about a tablespoon of oil in here while we're starting to pump heat into that cast iron. And once we feel like we've got enough heat to roll this thing around, then we're going to tip it around a little bit and make sure we got olive oil all over the bottom, so we can introduce that now extremely well seasoned chicken. I have 8 chicken thighs that have been sitting in the fridge for a while, and I come out and I dump them into my brand new pan, and I realize, wow, this pan is not large enough for 8 chicken thighs. I would have needed a much larger device. So we're going to have to find somewhere to put 4 of these while we cook 4, and then we'll bring the other 4 over when we're done. So what we're going for here is a really good sear, right? We want to get all that seasoning seared onto the edges of the meat, and we want the meat mostly cooked through after this step, but we're going to take it out and chop it up and put it back in the pan after we've deglazed the pan, so we don't have to get it edible at this first stage. So we're going to go maybe 5-6 minutes on a side here, and once we've got everybody happy and with a lot of good contact on the pan, we're going to put the top on and turn it into a little oven, which is going to help us with the cooking. So after we've done about 6 minutes on a side here, it's time for these to come out and go over to the cutting board, get chopped up into 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 inch pieces, things that will fit nicely in a pita with all the other stuff that we've made, and you can see when I come back the next time and I've cooked the other ones through, I've already chopped up the first batch, and we're going to go chop up this second batch, and everybody's going to go back in the pool after we've deglazed. And deglazing here is kind of important because you want to create basically a little sauce that you're going to put all these guys back in, and I'm going to use a port from Greystone Winery out in western Colorado. They make fantastic port. It's so good. But I'm going to put in, I don't know, 2-3 tablespoons worth, and then get in there and sort of scrape the crusty bits off the bottom. The technical term for that is fondant, I think. And then put all this chopped chicken back in there and give it a nice little toss around with this deglazed sauce that I've made. Really, really good. And so once everybody's gotten a chance to get some contact with that sauce, lid's going to go back on. We're going to give it another, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes. This way we know the chicken is cooked through and the sauce has had a chance to go happy with chicken. And there it is. There's all the goodies that we made. This is quite the feed. And oh, by the way, don't forget to serve this with some feta cheese. So I was a sailor and I spent a fair amount of time in the Mediterranean, so I've got a taste for Mediterranean food. These are all really easy to make. You don't have to make all of them at once. You can do that hummus and just have hummus one night. But this stuff is so good. I do recommend you try it.